Welcome back to the channel, my fellow degens. In today's video, going to look at the bull case for Bitcoin and the crypto market right now, with institutional demand seemingly coming back, and this is a narrative that could spell our move back towards 60k. But at the same time, we need to be patient and cautious right now. It's likely we see a bit of a retrace during this coming week. Typically, we've seen nice rallies over the last few weekends, and then we've been shot back down on a Monday when the markets reopen for the big players in the scene. So without further ado, let's crack on with today's video and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoy today's content. So Bitcoin has pushed up towards the 50-week EMA here after putting in 1, 2, 3, 4 daily green candles in a row, which has been rather nice to see. Been a huge relief, a big mixture of emotions, I'm sure, for most of us over the last few weeks as the markets have been tanking. But finally to see a bit of a relief pump out of here right now certainly makes you feel a lot happier and better in your crypto portfolio. As you can see, the 50-week has been kind of an area of support during the bull market, and then once we broke below it, it has acted as a bit of a resistance here around the mid-June point, and again just today we pretty much come up and tapped this and were rejected off of it. So if we look at Rect Capital's trend here, so this downward wedging structure here that we have been trapped in for around 8 weeks, you can see we pushed all the way towards the bottom half of this with that real low of around $28,500 to $29,000 earlier in the week. But we've started to break out above this channel, which is really important. And then we came up and tested that 50-week EMA. But it is expected that we would see a support resistance flip. So the area of previous resistance, breaking through it and then coming back and testing it as a level of support. So this could be a key moment, and this would bring the price of Bitcoin roughly down to around 33k if this happens over the next few days. Of course, this does not have to happen, but I'm sure as we've seen quite a lot of bullish sentiment in the market, we've seen a lot of buyers stepping in here and maybe some exhaustion from sellers, that it would be expected there will be a cool off to come. You can also see the volume down here is very low. Still, we're not seeing huge amounts of volume, which would typically trigger a big bull trend. And you can see on the RSI down here as well, it does show that we are currently overbought. So we're currently sat around 34k right now. If we pull back to the 33k region, I'm not going to be alarmed at any point. And I have funds on hand to DCA back into the market. I'm splitting those out over 4 purchases over the next few weeks. Any big red days that happen, I'm going to be buying in with that fiat currency. If we also look at the Ethereum chart here, similar story, the 50-week EMA as an area of support that we've bounced off during the bull run. And then as we've cooled off, it has acted as a bit of resistance here. And then today we actually started to look like we were going to break above it, but we have pulled back slightly. And so this is acting as resistance right now. It will be really, really good to see us break through this and test it as support and then start to springboard off that. I'm sure that this will come at some point, but this week is going to be quite an important week for the crypto markets to see if we continue to crab or if we can dig our way out of this and set up ourselves with support off the 50 weeks for both Bitcoin and ETH. And this will then be our launch pad to go from. Over on the crypto fear and greed index, you can see we're now up to 27, so a bit more positive sentiment. Going on Twitter, you would have thought we were already at 50k during some periods. It has been a bit too bullish for my likings at time, but it's great to see that people are there. They're looking at the markets, they're getting involved, trading things right now, and the money is quickly coming back in. Many people sat in stables, but of course, that can mean that we can flip back bullish quite quickly because people aren't exiting with their money anymore. They're putting it into stables, so it's in crypto. It's ready to be deployed very quickly, as we've seen with some huge gains, the like of Axie Infinity. I think Wednesday was like down to like teens, maybe low 20s, and now it's up to like $40 today. So the main story of last week was, of course, the GBTC unlocks, and this just looked like the great iceberg that took down the Titanic and pretty much caused a lot of fear in the market. But we are now pleased to say we have passed this. So we are beyond all of this area of FUD, all of the doubt and uncertainty around this, we've now got past this, which can only be seen as a very important thing, both psychologically and of course in terms of any sales as a result of these. So tomorrow is going to be the 26th. We've got a very small unlock here. And to be honest with you, these are all looking rather insignificant, these unlocks, in comparison to what we've been through. So I think we can almost tuck the grayscale GBTC behind us. But if we look at the discount currently, it's still at 10%. So this does mean that smart money, the institutional players, are more likely to be buying up GBTC because, of course, why would you buy $1 worth of Bitcoin on the spot market when you can buy it here for 90 cents? And that's what we saw with Kathy Wood of ARK Invest buying 450,000 shares of GBTC. Smart money is going to take that discount. So until this discount gets a lot less, at least, or even flips into the positive region with a premium once again, we will then see the inflows of institutional money, and this could really spark a big rally. But this, in terms of a narrative, people were saying that there's no institutional demand anymore. Where's it all gone? It's dried up. Well, this is going to obviously soak up some of that for now, but we're starting to see the narrative flip in terms of news stories. Everything was super bearish. We're starting to see positives come back through, and price does seem to follow the news at the moment in time. Some really good headlines as of late. Amazon definitely lining up Bitcoin payments and tokens, says an insider from Amazon here. They're looking to accept Bitcoin payments by the end of the year. Of course, that will be absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure most of us shop on Amazon regularly, and it is a normal habit for people to have now. They've gone through lockdowns. People are used to buying online. And so Amazon, being one of the biggest retailers in the world, them accepting crypto and Bitcoin is massive for that wider mainstream adoption. The internet behemoth set tongues wagging over the weekend after publishing a job ad for a cryptocurrency and blockchain lead, and it's expected they will then start to accept other tokens as well. They've touted the likes of Ethereum and Cardano on here as well. So this, of course, is very bullish for this space. If you zoom out and look at the longer term trend, we're only going to go upwards, and if this happens towards the end of the year, this could really spark a major run on the price of crypto assets. We've then got JP Morgan going full 180 from a few years back when Jamie Dimon was saying he would sack anyone who was trading crypto assets. I think he also called it stuff like a complete and utter scam. But Bitcoin's big institutional week here, JP Morgan brings crypto to all wealth management clients and more. So clients are now able to actually trade cryptocurrencies through like GBTC, through an Ethereum fund, an Ethereum Classic fund, and there may have been another one as well, but mainly Bitcoin, ETH, and ETH Classic there. And this just spells a change in tune for one of the biggest banks in America. Clearly, their clients are actually demanding that they can trade crypto assets. And this is a trend that the wealthy individuals aren't going to let pass them by. So they've demanded it, and now JP Morgan are having to offer it. So again, this is huge for institutional adoption, and a big bank like this actually accepting their clients to start trading these crypto assets is just a nod in the right direction and gives everyone more confidence to go and get involved with crypto. Over $3 trillion of assets under management at JP Morgan. So the floodgates well and truly could be opened through this. Of course, we have no data as of yet, but this is a big signal of intent. And this is just one of the awesome things that have come out during the last few days that should spark a continuation in the bullish momentum. We have other billionaires also getting on board now. Billionaire Thomas Petterfee owns cryptocurrency, and his quote here was that even I myself have put a little bit of money into crypto because even though the chances are I think that this is not going to be a viable market, I think that there's a small chance that this will be a dominant currency. So you have to play the odds. This is a guy with over $20 billion to his name of his fortune, and he's now getting involved with cryptocurrency, has probably already been involved for quite some time, but this just goes to show that narrative of the wealthiest individuals in the world and institutions is back on board again. SpaceX, of course, from the B word this week, the fact they've got it on their balance sheet again is just pushing this narrative forward. And we of course need narratives in crypto to drive the market. So if institutional demand is something that is now back on the menu, this is going to get consumer confidence back to cryptocurrency. Most people were wiped out. During May, we had all those like rug pull scams of all the dog coins. That was a retail mania where many people would have lost their money with Vitalik just sending the coins away and stuff. This hurt a lot of retail investors who were just here. They were just tourists initially, but we need these people to come back in to help pump the markets and also to push forward mainstream adoption. We need normies in here, and headlines like this are of course going to help when you see the smartest minds in the world are saying that crypto is here to stay. They own it, they're keeping it, they're not selling it, and so more and more people will be getting on board. Then finally here, I wanted to go over the NFT space once again. You need to really own a basket of NFT cryptocurrencies because they are absolutely flying up in value. So this is the real growth sector right now. I did a video on NFTs a couple of weeks back, and the market cap was 15 billion. It's now up to 18 billion, and the dominance versus all cryptocurrencies went from 1% up to 1.3%. And when you look through some of these projects here, they've been putting in double and triple digit gains. Of course, Axie is the big standout here, but others, big caps as well, the likes of Theta, 42% over 7 days, Engine 8.7%, Flow 25%. Just huge gains to be made here. Check out Alien Worlds, 85%. And although this can be quite confusing if you are not into NFTs and you don't really understand gaming, for example, you can buy a basket of these assets. I will go over how to buy the basket of assets in an upcoming video, as this is one of the areas that I'm adding to because there's a clear trend towards more adoption through these crypto projects. Gaming, NFTs do not require you to be into cryptocurrency per se. You just have to be into online social interactions for this to actually take your attention. So this can take on a lot of normal people who aren't actually into crypto. They can just start using these things without becoming cryptocurrency investors and having to look after their own private keys and all these kind of different things that could be seen as barriers to entry. And there's a huge social aspect behind all of these different things as well that really needs to be explored, as this is how you can onboard billions of new individuals. The youth today are into their gaming. This is how they socialize and interact with friends. They rush home and they play games online. And so these blockchain games, as you can see, putting in like 100% gains for the week. This is a trend that is here to stay. At the moment, things are a little bit hot. Of course, you wouldn't probably buy Axies when it's up 119%, but these are the kind of areas you need to have your finger on the pulse with. And when there's big dips in the market, take advantage of this before the mass herd of investors does come back during part 2 of this bull run. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. During this next week, we're going to look at some of the cryptos I'm DCAing into. I'm going to show you exactly why I'm buying them and how I'm going to be doing it, as I want to have some really big bags, concentrated bets in these key areas. So if you enjoy that kind of content, make sure you stick along, subscribe to the channel, like today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.